Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Balanced and Boujee. And today is Balanced and Boujee Book Club Part 2. We are currently talking about Fourth Wing. In our last episode, we roughly covered the idea of chapters 1 through 20. And this episode, we will be going ahead and talking about the conclusion of the book so that I can finally start Iron Flame, which is book 2.
And you guys, I blame myself for the pace of this book club. I was like, okay, we'll go a couple chapters and we'll talk about it. And our lives got busy and I couldn't put the book down. So that's why this is a 2-part episode series. But the next one, I'm going to try to be better.
Yeah, we were like, we'll just do 5 chapters and talk about it, go really deep in there. And then all of a sudden Brooke's like, I'm going to be done tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. All right. That's fair.
So good.
And I really appreciate all of you kind of bearing with us as we find our pace and pulse when it comes to the book club. So, if you have any suggestions, let us know. I definitely think one of the things that's so fun about this, but also maybe, I'm not sure how it's going to translate to podcast, is this is truly just us talking about a book we're excited to have talked about, and we've refused to speak about it in person or on the phone outside of the podcast spectrum. So I hope it feels as fun to listen to as it is to make, and it's not incredibly wildly confusing.
Yes. Yeah, because we have no basis for doing this. It's not like we listened to someone else do something and we're like, we should do our version of that. No, it's just an idea that we're muddling through.
We're we just keep wanting to read books and it's taking up our time. So if we could make it, productive, that would be stellar.
Yes.
And then again, as we said in the last episode, this is full spoilers. We are going to ruin everything. We're going to talk about the whole second half of the book and speculate on the rest of the series. So if you have not read Fourth Wing and you want to, go away. This is not the place to be. Come back when you have read it.
Yeah, totally. This is oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts. Do you want to hear what other people think? See if they're the same, see if they're different. Then listen. Don't do it beforehand, please. Unless you absolutely love spoilers, all of them, then I'm why read the book? We're going to essentially give the spark notes. So
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, I'm going to run through what we've already theoretically talked about, or at least how far we should kind of be in the book. Mm-hmm. So Fourth Wing is essentially this story about this young woman who is being forced to theoretically choose quotation marks, which part of this nation's military she's going to support, because pretty much everyone has to choose a wing. And she's been raised to be a scribe, which is a history keeper, a librarian, a planner, a recorder, whatnot. And suddenly her mom, who is a general, is actually, you are going to be a rider. And these people, they ride dragons, they die all the time, and their college is essentially a battleground of 20-year-olds who are horny. And that is the purpose of this book. Violet goes to this college. I think they call it a war college. Or is that something just people in the community talk about? Okay, cool.
Nope, I think you're 100% right.
Beautiful. So she attends this college. She survives these crazy challenges they're throwing at her, and she meets this son of the nation's traitor, and his name is Xaden Ryerson, and she's certain he's gonna kill her, except for she's damn, hot.
He's fine.
Excellent. At the same time, she's pining after her childhood best friend, Dane, but he is continually, I think, pissing her off. Yeah. Or at least he pissed me off, so I've pushed that onto her, because he's we have to get you out of here, you're gonna die. And at first she's oh yeah, he cares about me, and then she's Dane, I have to be here. Please stop telling me that I suck and should quit. Mm-hmm. Eventually, Violet, she finds a few friends, even though she was told don't make any friends. She starts winning challenges by poisoning people behind the scenes because she's not a good fighter. Oh, on that note, she definitely has a pain disorder or something with her joints. She's constantly having to tie herself together. That sounds wrong, but wrapping joints, and she's getting hurt and she's having to hide it because any weakness they're going to take advantage of at this college. Mm-hmm. And essentially they're training so that they can pick a dragon at threshing and ride this dragon and be a soldier on a dragon. It's great. I believe that when we talked last week, we didn't reach threshing. And threshing is this idea at the college. It's 6 months into the school year or something like that, where they go out into this field, they see all these dragons that are willing to bond with a soldier, or a rider is what they're called. And they are going to try to get on the dragon's back, just like, I don't know, climb it. I really still don't fully understand how they're getting on these dragons.
Yeah, that was like really foggy because Violet's situation is different, which we can
Right.
talk about. So, of course, no one else matters. We only care about how she gets on her dragon.
Exactly. Right. I think people are like supposed to jump off of rocks onto the dragon's back. Basically, you're going to die because the dragon is going to find you worthless and it's going to kill you because it doesn't want to bond with you particularly. Another rider is going to try to kill you to take the dragon that wants to bond with you, or you're just going to bond with a dragon and it's going to fly you back to the, like the meeting ground, and actually you're going to fall off and die. So big chances you die and small chance you get a dragon to ride. That's, I think, where we will start today, is that Violet has survived the War College. She's made a group of friends. She has gotten pretty mad at Dane. I think she stopped speaking to him at this point because he didn't believe her over an assassination attempt on her life. I've obviously not told you guys everything, but like, we only have so much time. And she's definitely getting closer to Xaden.
So things are getting a little spicy, right? She comes in with this kind of like who she was, physically she's a little smaller, she's considered weak. People are like, what are you doing here? And because of like the cutthroat nature, her peers want her killed. Dragons sense weakness and they'll just like take people out. They're like, no, don't even be here. So like she's defying all odds, right? And she's doing so in a way that it's using a lot of like her knowledge base and things she knows. Like Erica said, like she poisons her opponents before she has to spar with them because she knows she'll lose. So before we even go into the threshing, which like I feel like it'll build on, I really have like seeing her character development because granted I'm still fairly new in like some of the world of like these fantasy books and things like that. But even Akatar, which I love, like Feyre's weaknesses, I feel like were very quickly like overcome, and then she was the strongest person ever and she all of a sudden like could read really easily, stuff like that. And I do like that Violet feels very relatable in that her weaknesses are not just like overcome really quickly. She's having to be really smart about it. And as Erica mentioned, Dane, who was like her best friend since childhood, still sees her as weak. And she's like pushing back, being like, I can do this. I believe I can do it. Like, you are undermining me. And he's just like, no, I'm protecting you. And she's like slowly starting to be like, absolutely not. You're going to ruin this for, like, because you're going to get in my head. And Xaden, who is like, the enemy to lover trope, 100%, you can see it coming a mile away. Yeah. He allows her to like see her own strength and reminds her of that, and then just steps back and like lets her be, which is a cool thing, which I think, again, any comments on that before we talk about the threshing?
Yeah, I actually really love that, like, her challenges of like her physical differences, her pain, her struggles, those don't go away, at least so far as we've read. In the first book, she still has pain and she still has to work harder than other people to achieve the same things, and she's still small. So you see her in the book not overcoming those challenges in the idea that she doesn't have them anymore like we often see in other books, but that she's learning to live and function and succeed through different means than everyone else. She's utilizing different skills to compensate, and then thus it's actually making her like a quite competitive fighter and an impressive potential rider.
Yeah. Which I think is a really neat, like I was thinking about this the more I was kind of reading on her character. And these heroine stories, if you will, are usually about someone who has to overcome something to like reach a victory. This storyline is played out time and time again. But what I do, really like about hers, right? Like this whole world, the dragons and stuff, this isn't real. But at the same time, she is a great example, I think, that a lot of us can relate to, in that like the times in life that push us the most and maybe put our back up against a wall and show us where our weaknesses are, things like we then discover different parts of ourselves that allow us to thrive or at least survive. And that is very much, I just like that. Like because she grew up thinking she was going to be a scribe, she read a lot. She has like, I would say, a mind that memorizes a lot of information. And even that she is using to calm her nervous system when she's stressed, to keep her focused. She uses it then to take out some of her opponents in different ways. So it is really cool because I feel like the author put a lot of thought into her full spectrum of a character and how it's going to develop, and we're already seeing that. And these parts of her just make her in the story relatable, I think, to day-to-day life if you place yourself in her position.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes like threshing, which I think is one of the most important events in the book, so much more impactful, because Violet gets to threshing and she's the weakest, she's the shortest, and she has, I think, advanced like the least still, even though she is showing some progress. And other riders are telling her, like, I'm gonna kill you on the field. Mainly Jack Barlow. He's like this jerk who exists through the entire book, who's constantly wanting to kill her because he couldn't on
The parapet.
I don't know. Yeah, parapet, the bridge thing.
Yeah,
that he had.
the
they
round
walked
bridge
across.
thing.
Yeah, I don't understand
I
it.
think
It
it's
is what it is.
Yeah.
But she gets there, and she's walking around. Apparently, like a good amount of time has passed. She can see some people on dragons flying away. She has looked at all these different dragons, and she's felt nothing. And she knows that you're supposed to feel like a pull to a dragon. You're supposed to feel some sort of connection, and she's not feeling her pull to a dragon. And what she does finally notice are these three guys, like, going after a little gold dragon. And what she does, I think, is kind of what sets her character apart, is that instead of continuing on to find her dragon, that she has to find one, or she's going to have to repeat this whole year. It'll have been a waste of time. She decides to stop that and go defend this small little gold dragon from Jack Barlow and two other guys who've decided that it's okay to kill a dragon, which seems really... I will say that's my one critique. I'm like, they like revere these dragons. They think they're amazing and the dragons are in control, and they're like, we're gonna kill a littler dragon because it's weak, we think.
I don't. I get it for the storyline, but even that, like that's Violet's whole thing. Like her peers want to kill her because their unit is only as strong as their weakest person, which is her. And so then they're like, look at this dragon. It's kind of like Violet. We're going to kill it because it's useless and small. And I was like, it is a dragon. Like, I don't know. But boys, right?
Right. Like my first thought actually when I read that was like, oh, the other, like I felt for sure that other dragons were going to like punish them or kill them because they wanted to kill this small dragon. That's not what happened. And I still can't wrap my mind around that because it is still like Xaden sees, I don't know, he's probably stalking Violet because, he's gotten this interesting obsession with her, and he starts, like, seeing this is happening, and he tells these guys, like, that they better think about what they're doing, but he doesn't interfere because they're not allowed to interfere. He's, like, an upperclassman. He can't help, right? He's not doing anything, but he's like, think about your choices. And they're like, no, you can't do anything. I'm going to kill her. And then suddenly this giant black dragon lands right behind Violet, and then he saves her. How did that go down?
Yeah, it's funny how I'm already like foggy on this. But yeah, essentially Violet's like, hey, don't be mean to that dragon, and then they're like, okay, we'll beat you up instead. And very important point where like Xaden can't interfere, but she like kind of sees him about to break all of the rules because love is forming. But in the meantime, he doesn't have to because this giant ass dragon lands behind her and he's like, F you guys. And then I actually don't know if
I think Taryn like fries one where he stands because Sigale can't step in either. The reason that Taryn comes, that we later find, is because Xaden has like Sigale is Xaden's dragon.
Yeah. Because
they're mind connected, she sees what's happening to this little dragon, and so she calls her mate, the dragon's mate, Taryn, and she's like, do something about it, and he's like, fine.
Yeah.
And so he shows up and he's like, I will bond with this little silver rider because she defended this golden dragon that I care about.
And like essentially kind of like scared the other boys away. One of them dies. I don't remember how he dies. He's not important. The one that we hate the most gets away.
Exactly. And clearly Brooke and I are close reading, right? We're paying attention. I have no idea. All I know is that you're right. Xaden almost takes a step forward to save
That's where
Violet.
my brain blacked out. So that's what matters.
I was like, oh my God, he loves her.
Yeah.
And so she like rides in, and then she like gets to have Taryn as her dragon, and all of a sudden this other dragon and Darna, the gold one, she's like, me too.
Yeah.
And then we find out she's a baby, and we have to keep that a secret for the foreseeable future because
Yeah.
she's not supposed to bond. I don't know.
Another thing we learn about Taryn is that he is like one of the most powerful dragons
Yeah.
like ever, right? He's the biggest, which is so funny in contrast to Violet being so small. He is the strongest and he scares all the other ones in contrast to Violet. And he chooses her because of her character. And he's like kind of grumpy about it, but he also shows her a lot of respect and love. Like my favorite thing, and I don't exactly actually no, this has to happen for threshing. So like she has to get on this dragon and she can't. She's too small. So he like does what no other dragon will do because dragons do not submit to their riders and they have to be able to, like Erica said earlier, like get on their back, fly away and hold on because if they fall, dead. They return and they just find a new one. He like lowers his arm so she can crawl on and then he like starts to move and she's going to fly off. Like she can't she's not strong enough. And he uses his like magic to hold her in place. Mm-hmm. Or a couple times throughout the book he just like takes her in his claws and just like carries her around. And she's like, how is this happening? He's like, I'm not going to let you fall because you're a real one. And that warms my heart every single time it happens because she will go on to fight him and be like, no, I can do it myself. And he like lets her try and she falls. And instead of like every other dragon letting the rider fall and die, he scoops her up and saves her. And I'm like, there is another love story. It's platonic, but like, come on. I love that bond.
I think Taryn is actually the best character that I've encountered in the series so far because he is so funny. Because, well, yeah, you're right. He's totally heartwarming and helping her. He is being, like, begrudging and kind of a dick the whole time. So, like, he's like, I will not let you die. It would embarrass me. I picked you. You will be successful because I picked you.
It's so true. And even in Darna, like, when she comes along with, like, you learn that Xaden's dragon, Sigale, thank you, and Tarn like take care of her and have like taken her under their wing, no pun intended. Not their child, but regardless, it is like so even Andarna's coming along now, and so Tarn's essentially dealing with two of the kind of like weaklings here, and he's probably like, damn it, you know, but he still does it. And in his like grumpy old man ways, he also, I think, empowers Violet a lot. Like he humbles her, but also empowers her in the right times because they're eventually able to kind of speak essentially through their thoughts to each other. And I love that you pointed out he's one of the best characters because I almost didn't clock that because he's not like a human character, if you will, but 100%. Every time I see the slanted italicized wording that it's them talking to each other, I love it. It's he's made me laugh many times in his response.
Yeah, I think he's just so real, and I love that you said he's kind of like the old man character because you think about like in other media, you see the old man who's like kind of mean to the main character, but like they're best friends. That is what's happening here, and like because Taryn is telling Violet like she wants him to not hold her in with his magic because he needs to be able to focus, and he's like, are you calling me weak? And all that, you know, like he'll say things to her that's almost like judgmental and like whatever, but then they'll have an interaction with some human who is being insulting to Violet, and Taryn's like, I can burn him where he stands now. Just move out of the way and I will kill him here for disrespecting you, which is somehow disrespecting me.
Yes. And she's like, please don't. And I love how in their bond, it starts out with a healthy amount of fear of him because all of these riders are afraid of their dragons essentially. And then as it goes on, their thoughts back and forth again are like she comes back at him. They have little jabs at each other and like she becomes just as protective of him and Andarna, like protective in a way like obviously he can handle himself, but there's like this love that grows there and this I think I see a respect between the two of them. I think of him as almost like, the mentor that's also going to help her. Because while Xaden is a perfect hype boy, Taryn is like actually, I feel like they have these unique moments where she's like learning how to ride, she's learning her strengths, and he's giving her a very humbling amount of like encouragement. Like, no, you can do, I chose you for a reason. Just like no fluff. Like you're gonna do it because you have to. And without saying it, it's like, I believe in you. But that kind of
Yeah.
comes through everything he says, and I really like
Well,
that.
he totally does because he repeats like, well, I wouldn't have chose somebody who couldn't do this.
Yeah, because she questions herself endlessly. Like, actually, for a while, I was like, Violet, please. Okay? He did choose you. But also at the same time, I have to remember all she's been through, how much she questions herself. Like, they're a really great, of all the friendships, and there's some really cool friendships, I think, throughout this book. I really do like theirs.
Absolutely. And I've loved this. I'm going to segue to find a way to bring Liam up because I love Liam. Let's talk about him. So basically, you find out because Taryn and Sigale are mates, Xaden and Violet are stuck together for the rest of their lives. So she's no longer thinking Xaden's going to kill me. He can't because their dragons are mates, and if she dies, it could kill Taryn because he's been bonded so many times, and each bond gets stronger, and eventually, when it's super strong, it could kill kill the dragon too.
And if the dragon dies, the rider dies.
That's true. Yeah.
So it would like suck the life. Like if Xaden kills her, he's killing himself. So he can.
Sucks for him.
Yeah.
So they're stuck together basically forever, which is stuff they're gonna have to work out because like he's a third year, so he's supposed to go to war next year, whatever, blah blah blah. And everyone wants to kill her and take her dragon, which I do. Again, that's another area that I find a little bit confusing because he's so sure that if she dies, he'll die because her dragon will die.
Mm-hmm.
But then everyone wants to kill her to take her dragon. And I'm like, why don't they know that he'll die if they kill her?
Yeah. I do feel like, because there are a group that you'll learn too of like the marked ones, like the kids of their parents rebelled against the main government, right? So Xaden, because his dad was a traitor, is kind of like the leader of them, has taken responsibility for them because he was one of the oldest when that happened. And then there's like Violet and other people kind of on the other side of that. I almost mainly read that as like maybe it's those other kids who don't understand, because I do feel like that bond becomes more publicly known the more Violet and Xaden are seen together because everyone's like, ooh, and they're like, no, they have to be, they have to. And I do feel like you are right. I feel like the direct attacks to get her dragon maybe cease or get a little less, but people are still trying to kill her. So that is very, I didn't think about that beforehand too, because everyone knows like you don't want to kill Xaden because he wields shadows. He's needed.
Yeah. He's a bit scary.
Yeah.
And so basically he's like, I have to keep her alive. Whether or not people are trying to kill her, I guess, for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
But he's like, I have to keep her alive. People try to go into her room and murder her. Oh, I think I did get some of this mixed up in the story. Oh well.
No, that's right though.
It is, but I think earlier I was like, she and Dane aren't talking anymore by threshing. But I think they were. The thing I thought they weren't talking over hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So she almost gets murdered by a group of people. Suddenly, Andarna speaks in her mind and like stops time, and she's able to like get away from these 4 people who are attacking her in her sleep by like getting to the other side of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xaden appears and time restarts and he kills all of them. Except for one who got away earlier, but like, love a man who comes in the nick of time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, well, you can't be alone anymore because people want to kill you. So I'm going to force another essentially freshman rider named Liam to follow you everywhere you go. And Liam is just the greatest person in this entire college.
He is. He's such a good little bean. Follows her around and is her shadow that she hates, and she's so mean to him, and he's like, well, I have to be here. And like, they kind of form a friendship eventually, even though she's like annoyed that she's getting babysat. And he carves things out of like wood while he's like following her around, and like carves like dragons and stuff. I'm just like, I love Liam so much because he just kept his head up when she was like, you're useless, go away. And he's like, I have a job to do.
I have to be here.
And then she's like, you do everything Xaden says, and he's like, I owe him, man. Like, that's just how this is gonna go. Yeah, he's just confident, but he's like so sweet, and like you can tell he cares, I think, for her very quickly, in addition to feeling like he has to do this on behalf of Xaden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we love Liam.
He's just too sweet. And he is also like, while I'm being like, he's super sweet, he's also like, I don't know, considered one of the best in the year. Like,
yes.
Incredibly promising rider, a very strong wielder, although I cannot remember right now what he wields off the top of my head. But I know he has to hide it.
Or something. No.
It might be. Don't know. I could look it up, but I
Remind,
won't.
remind us, what does Liam wield? This is
Yeah, leave it in the comments. Be like, how could you guys be like, Liam's great? Forget every
yeah. Forget
guys.
everything about him.
I hallucinate the whole time I'm reading. I can't remember every moment of that. I just know I'm there.
These books are big. They're like
Yeah.
700 pages. Okay, if we remembered everything, it wouldn't be fun.
No, there's a lot, and also like sometimes other things overshadow because I get like I can't think about it too long. But essentially, like Liam is how we learn that like Xaden isn't just this angry guy who hangs out with the other traders' kids or whatever, but that he actually it has like helped almost raise several of them, and he is regularly going out of his way to teach them and protect them, which we have some hints of earlier in the book. But like I think Liam gives us a little bit more of like a human look at Xaden because he looks at him as his brother.
Yeah, he's a core character, I think, in like the two of them kind of bridging their gap. And of course, they're both super stubborn, right? So Xaden's like acting like he hates her, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, he hates me and I hate him too." And they're both like secretly in love, just like all of that the whole time. And Liam's just like, he's a good dude. And he's like, well, I like Violet. She's my friend. And so they're probably like, wow, interesting. Thanks,
Yeah.
Liam. Wingman. Maybe he wields being a wingman because he's good at it even
Yeah.
though he's not trying.
He's not even trying. The other wingman would be Taryn and Sigale because as we find out, they can when they have strong emotions, it kind of bleeds through the bond sometimes. So like one time all of a sudden Violet's like having a conversation with someone and her brain is taken over with like hungry, kill sheep, and she's like, what is happening to me? And it's because Taryn is like really angry and hungry and he forgets to like close off the bond, and so she feels his emotions. That also connects to when Taryn and Sigale are having romantic encounters. Those feelings often also bleed over. And one night Violet is struggling to like ignore these emotions that are crossing over the bond and making her feel not herself. And she goes outside and she runs into Xaden, who is essentially smoking pot. They call it something else. That's what I'm
But he's
certain
trying to
it
like also forget the intense emotions that are riding through his system.
Yeah. He's like trying to chill, and then they do like this mini lesson where he tries to help teach her how to, like ground herself and shut off the feelings to the bond and all that. And then the greatest line in like romanticy history happens where Xaden's looking at her after he's like helped her ground and he just says, fuck it. And they start making out. And I can't tell you how much I love the moment where he's just like, I give up.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm going to go for it. And that was the first time that they kind of admit there's something there.
Yeah. They cut the tension. They let it happen. And then, of course, backtracking happens because it's related to dragons and whatnot. But
He's like, these feelings aren't our own, blah, blah, blah. Go back to the castle or whatever. Okay.
before I read these books, I had some friends who explicitly said, they're like, yeah, like the dragons are gonna like do it. And if you try to explain that to other people, people are like, what are you reading? And it is, but I thought it was so funny that this first interaction, not interaction, but like time that they kind of give in to the tension between them and the pull is because they're both like, this is really weird. Like, I don't know how to do anything about this. And then he's just like, you find out later it's just the perfect excuse, right? Like, fine, I'm going to give in, you know? Because at that time, again, we recognize the trope. We know that they definitely are at least attracted to each other. But it's still this whole, well, this isn't me. I'm not controlling this sort of thing. But I'm just like,
Right.
planting the seed. And I just liked that it was funny. You know, it wasn't just instantly like, oh, I've just loved you forever. It's just like these feelings are like I almost feel like they were high schoolers where they're like, I don't understand these feelings in my
Yes.
mind. And the older ones like I'm trying to like, you know, calm down. No, they just do.
I think it makes it like a little bit more real because it was like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times when you're reading romantasy or books where there's like a strong romantic trope, they just immediately go from like whether or not their feelings are deeper, because I do feel like they wrestle with feelings at the time. This was just lust. Like, this was just like an attraction thing, and that feels so much more real for a group of 20-something-year-olds trapped in a death college together.
Exactly.
That they would be like, oh, fine. Because she's like, oh, I hate Xaden, he's so annoying. And they'll be like sparring, and she's like, I hate him so much. He is so hot.
Yeah.
I can't think straight. if he could be less hot, that would make this much easier for me.
That's so true, because I know we talked about that in the last episode where, like, I love the way she objectifies him. Like, you
Yeah.
know how hot he is through the thoughts of Violet and the things that she goes, like, she starts thinking about him and then she'll instantly go, nope, not thinking about that right now. And again, it's just so relatable.
Oh, it totally is, because I even think, like, it's not the same situation, but I can, like, think about when I was in college and I had this TA for an ed psych class. Hey, his name is Joseph. You ever hear this, man? You were very distracting for me. And I would be like, wow, he's so hot. And then I'd be like, this isn't appropriate. I cannot think these things. I need to be reading about child development.
You're right.
So
The
bad.
two can coexist.
Exactly. That's what humanity is. Humanity is being like, now's not the time and place, but that person,
10 out of 10.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I appreciate. So I have a take that I think is just the delusional part in me that wants to see the best in everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But we learn, fast forward towards the end, that Dane really did Violet dirty.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. So his signet, his power via his dragon, is he can see people's memories and read their minds, essentially, if he touches them, if he has physical
Right.
contact with them. And at one point,
Can he see? Can he see anything, or can he just see what they're thinking of in that moment?
ooh,
'Cause
someone
I
else
think-
who read deeper than me, can you follow
Yeah.
up on that? I think
Okay.
he can see anything based on what, like, I thought it was the first thing. Because the
Yeah.
first time when Violet's like, hey, these people almost murdered me, including this one key person, and Dane's like, no, 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 that person would never. And she's like, I was there. And he, like, walks towards her, he's like, let me see it. He's like trying to, like, put his head towards hers to see it. That would make me think in that moment that's the memory she has. And she's like, no, get your hands off of me. You should just believe me for me. So then Dane's done. But based on later, we find out that he at one point, like, kind of caressed the side of her face. Like, you know, he cares about her. Long story short, his dad, not a good guy, wants to kill Xaden and all of the kids of the people who rebelled. Finds out some information that pretty much only Violet would know via, like, Xaden, right? So it's her memory. And Xaden's like, did you share this with Dane? She's like, no, 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 of course I didn't. And he's like, well, did he touch you at any point? And that would make me think he can kind of see what he's looking for. So
yeah.
it's I want to say understood, at least via the story right now, that he, because he wasn't trusting her and how she's getting so close to Xaden, and he's this big rule follower and his dad's high up kind of in their normal government, stole her memories and then used it against this group of kids. And I I don't, guys, listen, okay? I don't actually give a shit about Dane. Okay? At first I was like, oh, he just loves her. He's just, like, weirdly overprotective. And now I'm like, yeah, he's kind of really annoying me too. So I'm not holding out because I want to hold out for Dane. Okay? I'm still convinced that he didn't do that on purpose. That he got that memory somehow, and, like, or his dad got it, or it was, like, extracted from him, or, like, maybe he was tortured for it. I don't know. Because he is such a rule follower, and yeah, he has hate for Xaden and stuff, but I just don't see him, like, hating an entire group of these kids. Maybe he will, and he'll turn out to be the true enemy of the story, but I'm like, I feel like there's some good in him, and I want to believe that he loves Violet enough that while he, in that moment of wanting to protect her, would blow through her boundaries, he wouldn't do it maliciously. And I really want to stand in this for a while.
So I think you're right, kind of. Like, I think what you're touching on is actually, like, the point of the entire series, almost. Like, when you dig past the romance, past the dragons and the fantasy, is that, like, everyone has the version of reality they think is true. And so I believe, and you see that, like, is General Sorengale, is she a good person or a bad person? What does she know? Is Xaden a good person or a bad person? What does he know? Like, what you're continually seeing is that these people who look like they're doing something bad are doing it because they think it's the right thing to do based on the set of circumstances they have and they know. So I believe that Dane did do it on purpose, and that he did tell his father on purpose. But I believe that he thinks he's doing the right thing. He has such a strong belief in Baskiath War College and in the nation that I don't remember the name of because again I'm reading so close, and that he's built his entire life on like the hierarchy
Yeah.
and the rules, and he has such faith in them that if he were to find out that everything he believed in was a lie, it would destroy who he is as a person. So instead of being able to explore, oh, maybe these traitors kids are victims and maybe the things I've been taught aren't true, he has to hold on to those beliefs that he's been raised with, which is really hard to overcome, and tell his father because he believes that if Xaden continues on the trail he's on, he's going to destroy the nation as they know it, and is this traitor who's going to let all these people die. So I think Dane thinks he's doing the right thing because that is what is the right thing from the information he has.
That's a really good point, right? Because Xaden and some of like the kids in this group, they're doing some shady stuff, right? And they're being secretive. And I also, as you were saying, I was like, yeah, I'm sure Dane thinks his dad is an honorable man who
Right.
would try to, right the wrongs, redirect them, but not do what he does and essentially just put them out for slaughter. So that is a good point. Yeah, I guess maybe now that more that I think about it, it's like, yeah, he probably knew what he was doing, but I don't think he meant to put anyone in harm's way. Or I at least would hope because yeah, as I find his character oblivious
Mm-hmm.
and annoying, even in the fact that he didn't believe Violet when she's like, this person had a hand in killing me. He's like, no, that person would never. And she's like, I was there. So that
Right.
I'm like, wake up, dude. Like, this is life in your college. But that kind of being oblivious, I do think that he wouldn't try to get people killed on behalf of the right thing. He would probably just be like, well, no, my dad will take care of it and it'll all be fine. And it's like, how is he going to take care of it though? Did you think through this? Probably not.
Right. Well, and if you think about it from like like an actual military perspective, you are not supposed to question the people above you.
Yeah.
Truly. So like if your superiors are telling you that this is the enemy and they need to die to protect the people at home, that is what you do. That is what you believe. And so like if you're constantly questioning the superiors who are telling you what to do, you'll die. Not like your superiors will just kill you. You'll die because you'll fail the mission because you're not working as a cohesive unit with the other people. You are taking time to, taking precious seconds in life-threatening situations. I mean, he's truly acting as a soldier, and that's what this nation has created is all of these, they're not child soldiers, but they basically, I mean, they're all very young and they're all immediately out, to battle. So I can't blame, I mean, I don't like him.
Right. Same.
But like, I don't think that he's this evil person for believing the exact same thing Violet believed 8 days ago.
Yeah, that's so true. What do you think about this timeline and how she got from like being in the same point as him to where she is now? So towards the end of the book, Violet learns that Xaden has withheld information. She's like, you lied to me. And he's like, I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you the full truth. And for that reason, she's like, screw you. I'll never trust you again. Blah, blah, blah. Like, girls digging her heels in. Again, maybe I'm just not a strong individual. But part of me's like, Violet, this is so much bigger than you. Okay, enough. This man is protecting you and everybody because, yeah, you'll get your memories stolen and you probably can't handle the full truth. And he promises to answer your questions honestly, but he just isn't going to disclose everything. And she's like, well, then I can't trust you. I was like, this is war. Okay, so that actually started to annoy me about Violet. That was the first time I was like, girl, what are your thoughts?
I totally agree. And this is actually something I feel when I read many different books where I'm like, you're super upset and you're having an emotional reaction, which is fair, I guess. But again, like we're at literal war and you just showed that you're not capable of keeping this information to yourself. So I don't understand how she feels that she has the right to be mad at Xaden after she just, pardon my language, fucked all of them by letting Dane touch her face. And Xaden, the moment she said, I didn't tell Dane, and then he realizes that Dane took it, instead of blaming her, he doesn't blame her. And I feel like he should. I feel like he should be mad at her for not being more careful with information that is an immediate threat to many people at the war college, but also little children who are the children of these so-called traitors who are going to be sent to these war colleges. I mean, Violet put a ton of people at risk by not thinking about letting Dane touch her face. And yes, was it fair? No. But like, for her to be mad at Xaden for not offering every piece of information he knows to her when they've only been on like the same page for a week.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. And yes, the information was like, I wasn't it about like, because again, we've told everyone it's all spoilers. It was that her brother's alive.
I consider there were many things. Like the fact that they're fighting Venom and like these things are real and that's what they're like the marked kids are like meeting in secret. Like what are they actually doing? He never disclosed that to her fully.
He, like knows that. Like to me, for some extent, I'm like, you see that they're doing something. You know something's up. You know he's gone sometimes. Like, but so you know you don't know everything. Why are you suddenly mad that he hasn't, in this short time that he started disclosing to you, disclosed everything? I agree. I found it really annoying. And I'm hopeful. I'm a little bit nervous that the next book is going to be a lot of her being like mad at him over that. And I won't be able to tolerate it. I'm going to be super irritated. I don't get it. It is, isn't it? You've already started the next already started the next book, and she's like, it sucks so bad. Violet's being such an annoying bitch, and it's hard to read her character.
Literally. And I will say, without going into the deets, like, he's consistently, I think this makes me like him more. He's not backing down. He's like willing to compromise, but only so much as to not risk everything, like you just said. And she's like, see, I can't trust you. And I was like, I'm starting to hate you, and I really didn't want to hate you, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're making me side with a boy over you? Be real, girl. Be real.
Especially when it's in first person. I should automatically, like, default to her a little bit because I'm reading it as I, so it should trick my brain into justifying everything she's doing. But still, yeah, I'm like, when I read that whole, like, after the betrayal and after they have to leave the college and they're, you know, off at this secret camp thing. I don't know. I'm describing it really well. You're welcome, you guys. Yeah, I found her anger to be really mad, really annoying, and unjustified, and I think just maybe a reaction for her. Maybe it's just a reaction for the fact that her entire life is a lie.
I was just gonna say, she is young, and she had a couple things, I feel like, fall out from under her around this time, and I think she's just projecting them all at Xaden because he's a safe space for her and is honest with her and blah, blah, blah. And I think she put him on this pedestal right away of being like, because he sees these parts of me, we're going to be equals or this. And I shouldn't say right away, but like towards the end of the book. And then she was humbly reminded, like, no, we're not. Not in the stance of like where this is now. Maybe it's her best friend, Rhiannon, who says like essentially she's going to be the most powerful rider. Like Xaden is currently, and he recognizes that and he doesn't take that away from her, right? So I feel like there's this build that she feels like, okay, I'm finding my equal. Our dragons are, and, you know, like they're not at this point. They're just not. And so she's being like, treat me like that. And he's like, no, I can't because you'll blow this whole thing. This is so much bigger than you. So yeah, we'll have to get into the next book. But yeah, I started it. I'll stop. I'll stop though. I'll like give it a break. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad that you started it. I'll hurry up.
Yeah. Do you see our friendship slowly cracking right now? She's like, I trusted you.
No, I love it because it means at least that you're excited about it.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is make sure like I push myself through because I'm reading like 3 other books right now, so I need to move Iron Flame up to the top so that we can crack through that too.
Let us know your thoughts because we went through the entire first book. I say I will do my darndest. Let's chop this other one up into smaller bite sizes. Because I like the conversations we had, like the depth that we've gotten into. But let us know what you guys think about any characters. Yeah. Is there another star player that we are forgetting to acknowledge in this whole thing? There are some great characters. But yeah, I feel like Taryn, Liam, come on.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Absolutely. And we just kind of sped run this one. So we'll try to slow down for Iron Flame so we can do that more in-depth analysis and explanation, because obviously, like we said, giant betrayal, blah blah blah, Venom. Oh, we didn't explain any of that. That's fine. You read the book. You already know.
That's the thing. While we warned you about spoilers, we're not gonna reread the book via this conversation. You need some context, so go read it.
So it's fine. Yeah, go read the book. Get back to us. Let us know what you think, and I'll hurry up and read Iron Flame so we can do this again in a couple days.
I'm excited. It'll be good.
Yay.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We will catch you on the next one where we, like we said, we'll start Iron Flame together. Book 2. Will we hate Violet? For how long? I don't know. Hopefully not.
Probably.
Yeah. 100%. I'm so sure it's going to happen. I just hope it's like a fifth of the book.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right.
See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.